wrong. I was wrong about the Giants. I mean, I was right that they stink and that they were going to get beat by the Dolphins when everybody thought, oh, this is a winnable game for them. They're going to be a playoff team. Look, they're still in it. They could beat Miami. I was right about that. But I was wrong about one thing, and that is my support for Joe Judge. No more is that the case. What is he talking about yesterday after that one? Where is the Joe Judge that fired Jason Garrett? Where is the angry Joe Judge that won't accept anything less than the high expectations, than the representation of this city, blue-collar, hardworking football team? Where is that Joe Judge? You know what I saw yesterday after the beaten team on the field? A beaten man in the postgame. That was a loser speaking. That's not like the normal Joe Judge. Now, you know, if you listen, and you probably haven't, but I do the overnights regularly and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, anything about me, I've been backing Joe Judge, and I've been saying that it's really hard to fully evaluate, and I still do believe this to a certain extent. It's really hard to evaluate a head coach in less than 2 years, even 2 years, maybe not even 3, although I guess maybe at the completion of the third year, you have an idea of what a head coach is or isn't. So I do think it's too early to a certain extent, but that to me was a dead man talking yesterday with Joe Judge after that game. That's not the Joe Judge that took over that opening press conference when he got hired a couple years ago. That's not the Joe Judge that even after dealing with loss after loss after loss, that fired Jason Garrett, that was fired up, that was ticked off, that said we need to be better. What, he was seeing good things in yesterday's football game against the Miami Dolphins? Which game was he watching? Which team was he talking about? What is Joe Judge thinking? And please spare me the, well, Sal, it's a backup quarterback. Well, didn't the Giants win a year ago with a backup quarterback in Seattle with Colt McCoy? So it has happened before. So that can happen, right? You actually can win football games. You could be competitive. You may even be able to score some touchdowns with a backup quarterback. But for the Giants, I mean, they can't. You've got to be kidding me. So last year they could win with a backup quarterback on the road to the tough place. This year against Miami, it's, well, we didn't have Daniel Jones. Oh, we didn't have the great Daniel Jones. How are we supposed to score a touchdown? 9 points. Their offense has been pathetic. Fire Garrett, it's still awful. Saquon Barkley back, Kenny Golladay back, still awful. Barkley, though, did have some nice moves, which further proves the point that I think eventually he will thrive on Dancing with the Stars. Nice little pirouette, little spin move, can leap too. He's going to be excellent in the ballroom. Len, what do you think? But Joe Judge is the one guy I thought, okay, I'm not sick of him. I'm sick of everybody else. Gettleman's got to go. Done with Jones. Done with Barkley. Will Hernandez, awful. Guy can't block. Can't block, period. End of story. The receivers, same thing. And yet the excuses, week in, week out, it's the same thing. But the one thing I wasn't sick of was Joe Judge. And now I'm sick of Joe Judge too. And if you didn't think so before, it is blatantly obvious. If you can't compete against the Miami Dolphins, the Giants have regressed significantly. That's the issue here. That last year, in Joe Judge's first year, even though their record wasn't great, they played hard. They were competitive in games, even against teams, they have no chance of. The games they had no chance of winning, teams they had no chance against, they'd either win some of those games or they would be competitive. Which led us to this year thinking, okay, well, heck, they should be better than what they were a year ago. Year 2 of Joe Judge, year 3 of Daniel Jones, healthy to start the season. They have to be better, right? Wrong. And the fact that they've regressed, the fact that they haven't gotten better from the start of the season to where we are now, that is also a reflection of the head coach. We talked about it with Miami, their opponent this week. Miami started the season 1-7. They've won 5 straight. They've gotten better. They were a dead team walking. A mess. Well, somehow they figured it out. And now they were legitimately in the playoff game. Not likely in the AFC, but they're legitimately in there. Point is, that's what Joe Judge should have done, what Brian Flores did. Another Bill Belichick disciple, by the way. Look what Flores has done, getting that Miami program turned around after he had success already. So Joe Judge in year 2, complete regression. And the excuses week after week, oh, well, this team is too good, or this guy is hurt. And by the way, Daniel Jones being hurt, that's part of it. He is often hurt. He's missed games every single year. At least a game every single year. He's going to be missing more moving forward. So get used to it. If that's your quarterback, get used to who the backup is. Couldn't even tell you who the backup was when Eli Manning was here. You know why? Because he never played. Didn't even matter. Irrelevant. That's not an excuse either. Joe Judge, to me, sounded like a head coach who was defeated, who maybe knows now, and I don't know this, I'm just using a little common sense, maybe knows now that his fate might be determined. Or at least the more he continues to lose to even the lesser teams on their schedule, the more likely it is he doesn't get a chance. Because the Giants, and we said this a while ago, and even though it was a Joe Judge backer, I said, you know what? I value more the continuity between front office and head coach, that I'd wipe him out of there. Even though I still believe he could be a good coach. And I do still think deep down he could be a good coach. It's just not happening here. Giants need to do better. And they can. You don't know who's going to shake free. You don't know what's going to happen with maybe Sean Payton or whoever else might be out there. Point is, it's time to blow it up. How many times are we going to hit it over the head? Are the Giants as an organization going to wake up and finally realize this isn't working? Not Jones, not Gettleman, not Judge, not Saquon, none of them. Golladay, disaster. And I don't even want to get into the salary cap stuff. They have 2 high picks. They should be able to, start to dig themselves out with a fresh start and buy themselves some time. The reason why we're not talking about that with the Jets is because obviously this is year 1 of a total rebuild with Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson. And we'll get to them in a second, but let me just pound the Giants a little bit more. This was supposed to be the step up, the next step for this team. Legitimately contending. Their owners said it themselves. Enough. It's not acceptable. This is New York. This is the Giants. Not acceptable. What are they thinking? Gettleman's got to go. And if he's got to go, that means the new guy has the right to pick his new head coach. No leftovers. Clean slate. Wipe them all out. Jones as well. I don't want to hear about the contract and the salary cap structure next year. Figure it out. Jones got to be on the roster. He's the backup. And actually, can you get a running back that doesn't mind some contact? And we talked about it last week, and we've been talking about really the last several years. The backup running backs that the Giants have, Gallman last year, Booker this year, they have been better runners than Saquon Barkley. He's a dancer. He's not a runner. Get the ball, hit the hole. I thought Boomer did an excellent job of explaining that, talking about how Barkley is just afraid of contact. Well, maybe he didn't say that exactly. I don't want to, misquote him, but you get the point. He's afraid for those dirty runs. Get in the hole, get dirty. He doesn't do that. So even their prized running back who's touched by the 5 fingers of God. God, it's sickening. Miami. I know they've been playing better, but Miami's no good. You saw Tua. And you saw Logan Ryan as well with the quotes. I mean, I don't know why he didn't say that on Friday when I was asking him about Tua, but after the game, well, yeah, I could throw 2-yard outs too. Well, that's what they do. Told you, Tua's got the arm of a 12-year-old. They don't throw the football down the field. How hard can it be to play against that team? And they couldn't even do it. I know their defense is good, and that's what's been getting it going, but geez, 9 points? Their offense is horrific, and it has been for weeks. And let's not make the excuse. That's back to the point. Let's not make the excuse of the backup quarterback. That's kind of back to the point about Joe Judge. What is he talking about? I saw some good things. You did? Which game were you watching, bro? You saw some good things yesterday? Are you talking about Miami? Is that what you saw that's good? Are you talking about practice? Game film? What exactly did you say? I'd love to be one of these days, I'd love to be in those post-game press conferences. Joe, come on. What are you talking about? You, him, your team stink. What are you talking about? What are you finding the positives? It was more good than bad. You scored 9 points against a bad Miami Dolphin team. This team was worse than you were the majority of the year. How come they can figure it out, but you can't? But yet you see some positives. You made Jason Garrett the scapegoat. You blamed it on him. Oh, we got better players than that. Our offense got to be better. Blah, 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 blah. What has Kitchens done? Nothing. Put Jones in harm's way, and he still can't score any points. I mean, unless you like field goals, I know you're a special teams coach. Maybe they were lined up properly. You like the blocking on the field goal kicking team. You like the execution, the nice snap and spin on the hold. I mean, maybe that's what got you going, but I don't know what you were watching if you see some positives. And when we last left you Friday, we mentioned how, a lot of Giant fans were calling, Sal, how could you rip them? They beat the Eagles. They got to win. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I told you that even with a win, there are more concerning things from that game for me from the Giants. Well, look at what the Jets did yesterday. And I know it wasn't pretty, and it was better early on in that game. But there were more positives to me in that Jets game than negatives. I expected them to get beat by Philadelphia, even with Gardner Minshew in there. I expected the Jets to get beat by Philly. I thought that was a hiccup for the Eagles a week ago against the division opponent on the road with the Giants. Never an easy game. And then this week coming in against a bad Jets defense, and that's alarming because Sal is supposed to be a defensive guy, but you saw at least you saw some signs of Zach Wilson. Now, if you watch him play, it's obvious what the Jets saw in him skill-wise. Now, problem is we're years away from seeing that really fully develop. You're going to have to be extremely patient with Zach Wilson. He's like pre-K right now. He's not even in first grade. It's pre-K. Maybe next year it'll be kindergarten. This year, it's clearly he's not ready for the NFL in his rookie year. Maybe next year it'll be the real rookie year. And then maybe the year after that, in year 3 for him, then maybe you could start to say, okay, well, you know what? He's in class now. School might still be in session, but he's at least in class. Right now, he's not even – he's so far removed from being a competent, consistent NFL quarterback. But the tools are there. He's got a terrific arm with ease, throws it down the field, elusiveness, very quick. And I'm not talking about speed, Mike Vick or Lamar Jackson type speed, but his elusiveness, his ability to escape the rush and avoid the sack. Those are things that's there. Now, he's got to get better with throwing the football even underneath. What good is it eluding the pass rush or avoiding a sack if you can't throw the ball 4 yards down the field to your running back to at least make it a positive play? You got to be able to do that. And those are things, Wilson's been off. He's throwing everything high, making horrible throws, high, low, in the grass. I mean, those are things that you look at him and you say, geez, he's not even anywhere close already. However, the good things, at least you sit there and say, wow, that could be a wow, or that was a wow play. This could be a wow player if he puts it all together. Him and Eli Moore. Are we calling him Elijah or Eli? I mean, Elijah's annoying to say all the time, but Eli, Elijah, whatever you want to call him, that's fine. I'll figure out which one I want to call him eventually. Whatever he wants, actually, matter of fact. Eli, let me know. Or Elijah, let me know. But Moore has shown the ability to be a playmaker here, an explosive playmaker. That's something the Jets haven't had. They have a solid foundation with that offensive line. They can run the football a little bit. All of a sudden, offensively for the Jets. See, now, yesterday was more of the type game, and I know, again, a blowout, 33-18, I get it. But yesterday was more the type game that I was expecting from this team coming into the year. I thought their offense would be better than their defense. And I thought they'd be competitive, somewhat competitive. Now, the kicker, I mean, you got to be kidding me with this team. They can't find a kicker. I know it's an epidemic here around the league. You miss extra points are a given. Just a matter of how many. They are happening all over the league, and it drives you nuts, especially if you're betting on the games. It's infuriating. But the Jets had to make a change with Amendola. Now they go with this kid, and he can't make an extra point. Infuriating. So obviously there was some frustrating. They can't stop anybody. C.J. Mosley tackling his own team as opposed to Dallas Goedert. I mean, the Jets are running into themselves. Bad penalties. And I think there were some officials or some Awful officiating with that Jets game. Salah has the right to get upset, and you love seeing that passion and fire. If you're a Jet fan, you love seeing that on the sideline, him getting fired up. You'd rather see him actually coach a good game and maybe have a defensive game plan that could slow down the opponent. Forget about stop. That's asking too much at this point. Slow down the opponent. But you like the fire. You like the passion. I do still believe that, you got to give him some time here. Let these young players grow, get them in place, and figure out how they're going to work defensively. He's not changing his scheme. That's obvious. That's evident. And nor should he. I mean, Salah believes in that, fine. But it's been so bad that you could understand the questions. However, even with that frustrating loss and the missed extra points and the sloppy play and the defense not being able to stop anybody, even with that, there still were some signs to say, okay, I think we could work with this. It's not Adam Gase sitting there looking like a clueless idiot looking at the clipboard on the bench where it's, hey, where's the head coach of this team? And he's nowhere to be found. You see a guy who has the potential to be a good motivator, potential to be a guy that players are going to love and get behind. Just got to get the right players, and you obviously just got to see that defensive system work. But you also know that his defensive systems have worked before. So you've seen that. But with Zach Wilson in particular, at least you started to see a little more positives in that game. And the Jets and Giants, as we said, they're at two different places. That's what we're looking for with the Jets. Show me something. Show me some competitiveness. Show me some signs that they can move the ball. Show me something in Zach Wilson that gets me excited. And I think you had enough of that. There was some bad to remind you how early on we are in the process here, but there was some good that's okay, he may have a shot. And with the Giants, it is time to hit the button. The old reset button, which they're all too familiar with. And blow it up. And that's all it's going to be about. I don't want to hear anybody talking about, oh, no, but we do have a chance. Look at this team and look at that team and the Bears and the Washington. No. I don't care who's on the schedule. I told you. You were looking at Miami like that's a win. Miami looked at you like that was a win. And guess who came out on top? Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. It's the greatest football team. And they stink. They got a quarterback that can't even throw it past 5 yards. And you know what? That was a dreadful football game. Nobody throwing the football down the field. And now we're not even going to get to, now we may see Fromm at quarterback next. Oh, my God. Just get to the end of the season and blow it up, please. All of them. Definitive now. Gettleman, Judge. Sorry, Joe, but you sounded lost after the game. That's it. Time is up. Gettleman, Judge, Jones, Saquon, all of it. Start fresh. And I'd prefer they bring in somebody new from the outside. Just getting started here, 877-337-6666.